In this lesson, we're going to learn how to subtract polynomials. In our first problem, we have a trinomial minus a second trinomial. So what I do always is I distribute a negative sign, and then it changes the problem to an addition problem, and you already know how to add. So it's combining two things. When I say distribute, remember there is a -1 as a coefficient in front of that second trinomial. So I am going to distribute this -1 to all three terms. So a negative times a negative would be a positive 4x squared, so I will put plus 4x squared. -1 times positive 4x is negative 4x, and -1 times negative 5x cubed is positive 5x cubed. And I will just rewrite this first trinomial, and I'm going to drop my parentheses. Now I'm going to look for my like terms. And since I want this in standard form, I'm going to start with my highest degree, which would be 3. So I see a 5x cubed right here. I'm going to write that first, 5x cubed. Now I'm going to go on to the squareds. I have a 4x squared and a 6x squared, which would be 10x squared. And then I go to my regular x's, which is -4x. And positive 2x, that combines to be -2x. And lastly, I've got this constant right here of positive 3. So I have a cubic polynomial as my answer. It really doesn't get any harder than that. So I'm going to put in my -1 here. I'll recopy this first trinomial, dropping the parentheses. And now I'm going to distribute my negative to the binomial. So -1 times -2x squared is positive 2x squared, and -1 times positive 2x is -2x. Now begin combining your like terms. Start with the highest degree, which is positive x cubed, and I don't see anything like with that, so that goes first. Next, I go on to the squared terms. I have a -6x squared plus 2x squared would be -4x squared. Then I go to my -2x. There's nothing like with that. And then my constant of -2. So again, cubic polynomial. All right, this one I would like you to try it. Hit play when you're ready to check your answer. I hope you began by recopying the first trinomial, distributing your negative then, so -1 times 4x is -4x, -1 times -5x squared is positive 5x squared. Combine your like terms. I have a 2x cubed as my highest. Then I have 5x squared, and positive 5x squared would be positive 10x squared. I see a -4x. And lastly, a +1. This last one is an awesome question. It's actually an example of a Keystone question that you could see on your Keystone exam. So it says, Sammy simplified this expression. It's a binomial minus a trinomial, and he got this as his final answer. What is the value of m that satisfies this expression? So we got to figure out this right here. So in order to do that, well, I would begin by just distributing my negative like everything else. So that gives me -2x squared plus 2 minus mx squared minus 5 plus 5x cubed. All right, and I go to combine my like terms. So 5x cubed, yep, got that, right? So did Sammy. Next would be the x squared terms. Well, when I go to combine them, I would have this -mx squared and this -2x squared. And what do I know? Well, I know when Sammy combines them that he gets positive 2x squared. So when I'm combining things, remember you're just combining your coefficients. So I know that -2 minus m has to equal positive 2. Let me say that again. -2 minus m has to equal the answer that Sammy got of positive 2. So if you just think of this like an equation, what would m have to be? I would add 2, which gives me -m equals 4, divide by -1, and m has to be -4, so it's option B.